Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great joy to introduce to you my beloved ascended twin flame, the Lady Master Ruth Hawkins. My beloved stands to the messenger's right as I stand to her left. I describe to you now the glorious robe marking this entry into the heaven world and stepping down to this octave through the presence of the messenger. This garment is almost undescribable, having layers and layers of filigree, of such fine golden substance woven in white. My beloved fulfills the beauty of all lifetimes for me, and I am grateful for her perseverance as she has worked through her karma and many challenges, many activities in this and former lives, her soul desiring each hour and each day to find that eternal reunion with God and with me. Therefore, please be seated now. The burdens of the earth are our concern, and especially the burdens of our youth. We ask you to call daily to Rex and Nada and Bob and Pearl, that you might summon through them their legions of light. They have armies of youth, beloved, who may cover the earth and bring many souls of the youth to that point of understanding their I am presence and Holy Christ self, of understanding ascension's walk from these levels of darkness in the earth to the brightest light that could ever be known or experienced. So, beloved, if you desire to see the earth continue, know that all depends upon the youth, how you are moving with them, educating with them, caring for the very littlest ones, directing those who have been severely burned, who have been put down, and whose identities must be healed. Therefore, when we come with the third ray, we also come with a ray of healing. This healing action and this pink fire that comes from the love of God, this is truly the means of transmutation, of elevating the souls of the children and bringing all to the awareness that they too can walk and talk with the Holy Christ self in the I am presence. This conference is dedicated to the youth of the world and to children of all ages. It is dedicated to the soul of each one on earth and to that fragmented soul as well as to the inner child. Understand, beloved, that many mighty works may be done for the people of earth. But if love does not blossom in the children, it will not blossom in the adult. This you well understand. Lose yourself in an all-consuming fire to bless, to heal, to elevate, to bring to that point of Christhood all souls of light in this world. Pray for them as your predecessors have prayed, as my beloved Ruth did pray for the children of the world. So many have come through this activity who have made their ascension because they have dedicated their prayers and their dynamic decrees, which they have given hours and hours by the day, so they have dedicated this to the blossoming and flowering of the youth. There are many who are the teachers in the schoolhouses of the world who do not know how to connect the child with his inner teacher. That inner teacher, as you know, is the Holy Christ Self. And within is the Holy Buddha Self. So, beloved, when the child has that sense of inner majesty, of empowerment, when the child has the inner sense that he or she is connected with God, you can see this in the child. The child is self-assured, is determined, is joyous, is happy, is interested in investigating life, in trying on everything and anything that is new and wonderful. And as the years go by and the depth of the wisdom of the soul of the holy child comes to fruition, you will see that even in this community, as in places throughout the earth, there are souls who have arisen, who are mighty, who are high indeed, and who will bring to the earth a tremendous gift. Remember, beloved, the higher the soul, the more is required of parents to keep their harmony, give their decrees for the child, and to rise into new dimensions of being. This do, beloved, for in this octave and in this world, all truly does depend on what does become of the children. What will become of your inner child? Will you nurse that child to wholeness and divine being and such a sense and presence of victory and wholeness that in your very body and life and movement and action, that inner soul, that inner presence, so having been made whole through your care, now is able to lead tribes and nations and peoples from here around the world. Let the little child lead them. Let the little child lead them. Let your child of the heart lead you, and yet understand that you are also parent to a soul, and that that soul is not yet immortal. Gaining the immortality of one's soul is the most priceless effort that you must make. The effort to know that wholeness, to know that oneness, and finally to see that one's soul shall return to the realms immortal and to that soul's immortality. You are about to celebrate the ritual of wholeness. You are about to celebrate soul retrieval as the messenger guides you. This soul retrieval at this Christmas tide and New Year is also tied to the action of the love ray. So we come, beloved, so you have understood and seen how the fallen angels move against the light bearers, mock them, strike them, whip them, bring them to their knees. Oh, beloved, the lack of mercy in the earth is a tragedy. Consider how there is no mercy in some of the nations of the Far East, no mercy upon their very own people, slavery being rampant in the earth, with child labor being used. How can there be such a discrepancy between one such as the beloved Kuan Yin, the mother of the East, and the outpicturing of those individuals with their hardness of heart, who have no thought for the children, no thought for those of all ages, yet to use them in building their domain, their armies, their tanks, their weapons. This then must be understood by all. All of you know that the destruction of Maldek came apart by the warring of factions until the warfare became so great and science so advanced that that planet, now the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, that planet itself totally was blown up. These evolutions, who are the warring factors and other warring factors of other planetary systems, have come to earth to corrupt those who are of the light. This corruption, beloved, is something that must be exorcised from the planet. Yes, the corruption of those who do not resolve their issues in their religious leaders, such as the Buddha, the Christ. So, beloved, these very ones have reincarnated again and again and have been called laggards because they have lagged behind their evolutions everywhere that they have gone, because they are ultimately materialists and have no desire to enter the kingdom of God, but to amass wealth and comfort and to carry on and on and on. You then see that among them there is a mockery of the word. You also see and understand how these fallen ones affect the attitudes of education, of higher learning, the uses and misuses of technology, when this comes to allowing children to see things on television which they ought not to see at such an early age. Violence is everywhere. And there is that presence in the motion picture industry that each successive film must carry greater and greater violence. Thus, children come to believe that it is all right to kill, to maim, to harm, to destroy. Civilization and life is becoming more and more chaotic. We are counting on keepers of the flame and light bearers throughout the world to turn this around, beloved, else you will find a type of individual, a type of people on earth that you cannot even imagine, those whose soul have been so marred because they are without the love of one or both parents, that they then have that hardness that is difficult to undo, whether in therapy or whether in the churches. I call all these things to your attention. I know that many of you know all that I have said. I have come to place emphasis on those points that I have made so that you will understand that there are legions of light serving with Rex and Nada and Bob and Pearl, that you must ask to be taken with their legions every night for some portion of that period of sleep, that you might help the youth of the world. Having so said, I turn you over now to my beloved twin flame, who will speak to you. Beloved mother and beloved friends, I rejoice to be with you in this moment. I have waited long, very long, beloved, to reach this moment when I might stand as an ascended being and in my robes of immortality to speak to you of God's call to me long, long ago, which I also answered. I speak to you, beloved, of art, and art itself in so many forms and manifestations. I have pursued art over many, many lifetimes, and in doing this, I have perfected my own soul. I have been able to draw back to myself the fragments of the soul. And I understand that you are now engaged in this, and I am grateful that our mother has introduced this and does lead for you the soul retrieval exercises at quarterly conferences. Know then and understand, beloved, that the fragmenting of the soul bears warning and a sign. If the soul becomes fragmented, it is because the soul has been abused and the light of the soul has been stolen. Your own carnal mind may steal the light of your soul. Far worse, the fallen angels and the laggards may come to steal components of the soul. Once these components of the soul are no longer tied to the soul, they may float beyond in octaves and in levels that are dark, that may consist of millions of miles across the galaxies. Once the soul and the body of the soul has been tampered with and ceases to be whole, then that soul, she is vulnerable. You then have come to this meeting today to call for the fragments of your soul to be returned to you. I know that the messenger has made it clear to you that in order to hold on to the soul and to bring the fragments back to the soul, that you must have a very strong heart chakra, a very strong chakra, a chakra that is greater than the antithesis, that which is the heart of the fallen angels. So if you have neglected the raising up and the balancing of your threefold flame regularly through many lifetimes, lifetime after lifetime, then at the moment when you desire to magnetize back to you all of these soul fragments, you find that the magnet of your heart is not strong enough to hold on to those fragments. And once the soul retrieval is concluded, then you find that those fragments begin to wander again, or they may be stolen. I would suggest then that on a daily basis you call to God for the great central sun magnet to be superimposed upon your heart chakra. And thereby, even though your heart chakra is not developed, nor the great central sun magnet developed, that magnet will be placed over your heart and will hold intact the fragments of soul that you have called back through many prayers and mantras and decrees in these rituals of soul retrieval. So you see, beloved, this in itself is a great dispensation, to know that you may have that central sun magnet over the heart flame, over the threefold flame, protecting the fragments of being. As you do this then, and you call home the sheep from your pastures, from far off worlds, when all are together and all components of wholeness are sealed, then and only then can the soul enter in to the path of becoming one with a holy Christ self. So you see, there are steps and stages of development that must not be missed. When you miss some of those stages, then unwittingly you have skipped steps that will be costly to you. I recommend then that you realize that once you have placed upon your heart chakra a replica, a small replica of the great central sun magnet, once it is placed by your holy Christ self, the I Am Presence, and the solar logo I who control that magnet, you then must maintain your harmony. For if you break your harmony once you have established the magnet over the heart, then you see, beloved, you have a schism and a discord in your world, which means you have a rent or a tear in your garment. This may start the process all over again of the fragments of the soul drifting to the farthest corners of the universe, and you in your Christ self having to go forth to bring them home, or to rely on the messenger to make this powerful call for you. So I give you one more reason why it is important to guard the harmony. Guard the harmony of being. Do not be ruffled, do not be moved. Recognize that God is your champion, your I Am Presence is your champion, your Holy Christ Self is your champion, the messenger is your champion, and many angels and saints and ascended beings and the entire spirit of the Great White Brotherhood are also your champions. So, beloved, you cannot make it to the octaves of light, permanent being, and immortality if indeed you do not bring to wholeness that soul that is yet in the state of mortality, and she is there because this is the place to which she has fallen. Now I think I have made myself clear, as I wonder if on this, my first occasion of speaking to you, I have truly conveyed to you my deep desiring. My deep desiring, beloved, is to share with you the great love of twin flames, especially of ascended twin flames. Ascended twin flames who occupy the same fiery ovoid may move through the universes in all dimensions and octaves, carrying, as it were, a sphere, and the spheres of the causal body as these spheres have been developed over centuries, a great sphere of being that allows twin flames and ourselves specifically to reach untold millions of souls that are in different dimensions of beings, different systems. The universes are far flung, beloved. We are grateful to be stationed in New York City at the Temple of the Sun, for there so many of different races and backgrounds make their way through that city and then throughout the nation. So each soul that comes representing a different evolution of a different time, a different root race, makes one individual or thousands of that same root race have special qualities, a special service to offer, and then again, that is multiplied by the tremendous creativity that everyone has, though many have not touched, in the secret chamber of the heart. Those of you who are artists of one kind or another understand that the greatest art of all is the art of loving and living in the secret chamber of the heart with your holy Christ self. When you are able to do this, you know that you are moving closer and closer to your ascension. Let nothing stop you, beloved, for you are not a point of eternity until you are immortal. With all of my heart's love, I tell you that no matter what the challenge, no matter how great the pain, no matter what it takes to overcome the sinister force and to beat down the demons of the night, go for it, do it. You can have not only your glorious victory in this life, but your eternal union with your twin flame, who is either waiting for you in heaven or helping you along on earth. I am your beloved Ruth. I shall be with you always, for I am a part of your mandala. I seal you in all the love of my heart, and I tell you to each one, all things are possible unto those who love.